All right, hi everyone. John Marshall, the DrillMaster. Little bit of a different setup in behind me. I even haven't even unwrapped my printer yet, but I'm Mrs. DrillMaster and I are getting there in our new South Carolina house. All right, this is the California Cadet Corps. This is from I think it's 8 years ago, but I was contacted and asked about the technique used here, and just to offer a critique, just to see if the Cadet Corps in general is still following the appropriate standards. So I'll get to that. So what I have here, so it's a little dark. It looks like getting close to sunset here. Anyway, so what I see here though is the guidon bearer's right hand. The staff. So I don't have any of my equipment out yet, so I could grab my flagstaff and show you. But it looks like instead of holding the staff with that V grip, which is required, the cadet here, the guidon bearer, is holding it with a kind of a reversed strong grip, having the thumb along, so that the staff goes through. The palm is facing outward when really the grip should be completely around if it was authorized, but it's not. No, sorry. Yes, it is authorized for the guidon, so that would be good. But the thumb should wrap around. The V grip is executed at transitions for eyes right, things like that. But and then when you're at attention. So you have that strong grip, what the Marine Corps calls the strong grip. I know that the California Cadet Corps goes off of the Army standard, but that right thumb should be lifted or wrapped. I was going to say the lift here is the left hand coming across, lifting, because I think, yeah, okay. So the instructor, I'm assuming here, has given right, waited for the lift of the guidon, but that's not what we do. For the Army, that's not a thing. Lifting the guidon, having that big pause in there, it's not what the Army does. So right face, that's it, and the guidon is just lifted to the trail position to transition for that facing movement, and then put down. So if I were standing here and I had that guidon in my hand, I'm going to lift my hand a little bit so you can see it in the camera, but it would be right face, 1, 2, as I'm making that facing movement. Obviously, I can't. I'm confined here to what I can show you, but this isn't a technique. Reaching across, lifting up, that's the sea services, not the Army. Discombobulated all the time, and I get it. I really do, especially when we have good-hearted retirees, veterans who come into programs and say, yep, I know how to teach drill, but they teach something from an opposite service because that's where they're from, and they're thinking that all the services do exactly the same thing, and that's not exactly accurate. We do the same thing using slightly different techniques. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice tempo there, keeping up with the. So the way he said forward, quite possibly he's Marine Corps, which is why the guidon did what he did. And see, there's these little tiny nuances that many just don't understand, and I get it. Yeah, he's Marine Corps. So the cadence is too slow. Arm swing looks pretty decent though. There's slight variations here and there, but so I understand why. Most likely, he was a drill instructor. I understand why the cadets are marching like this, with that slight dig in with the heel, what I call a chop step. It's not a whole foot, it's just the heel coming in to dig and make some sound. I get that, I understand that. However, that's improper technique. So we don't walk like that, so we shouldn't march like that. But again, I understand why it's being done. When we march, we are walking at attention. Every time we walk, we're practicing what we're going to do when we're marching. So then we take those techniques that we've learned all of our lives in walking, and then we transfer them over into marching. Now, of course, we have to alter some of what we do when we're marching. Standing attention, the arm swing, the foot transition. When we first start off with that left foot, we start out with the 22.5 degrees off to the left, and that left foot then transitions to straight ahead. Same with the right on that second step. Transitioning back, then when you halt, we're marching like this, and then step close. But you can see the feet coming back slightly. So left shoulder should have been called on the right foot, so that you get a nice coordinated arm swing there, and you don't have to pause. So did you see some of the cadets lift up on releve, a dance term? Releve is lifting up onto the platform of each foot. So the platform of the foot is the ball of the, of those knuckles back there, the ball of the foot, and then everything forward. Toes is going to be, what we would call tippy toe. So when we execute rear march, what we're doing is we're turning on the platforms of each of the feet, but we're not lifting up. And see, when we march, our feet just clear the ground, just clear the marching surface, the deck, whatever you want to call it. And so just lifting the foot up enough to clear that marching surface, that's the marching technique. We're not going to scrape our heels, we're not going to scuff the toe. So when we lift up to turn around, we're not going to lift up so much that the heel is excessively, and that's a relative term, excessively off the marching surface. We're going to lift up so that the heel can just barely clear excuse me, the marching surface. So some arm swing is a little more conservative, hers, and there's another female cadet. So as you're marching in inverted column, this position for the formation, which way are you dressing? You're supposed to dress to the base squad, so the dress is to the left. And he's going to give rear march in just a minute. And then the dress reverts back to the right, still the base squad. So there's alignment issues, and that can be usually we have the stronger marchers towards the front. The weaker marchers tend to be, not all the time, but tend to be towards the back of the squad, of each of the squads, the back of the formation. And so when it's a big challenge, then when you execute rear march, you're marching in the opposite direction. The weaker marchers now, and weak doesn't necessarily mean bad. I'm just saying they don't have enough experience, quite possibly, to be strong enough to guide the rest of the formation without veering off in one direction or the other. Or most commonly, you'll have two members and they'll come right together practically. So your alignment, your spacing then starts to get jumbled. See, I I hate this kind of cadence calling. No disrespect to those who do it, but I hate it because it's all about your voice. You just want to hear yourself singing, and now that might not be in every case, but it's unnecessary. In my view, it's completely unnecessary. It's all about the members of the formation who are marching.
Lean back and look.
Now, did you see the adjustment in the different members as they make that rear march? All of a sudden, now they have to get back into alignment. So the recovery is quick, but the recovery doesn't even need to be there. If you're marching with everybody nice and strong. See how these two, the guidon bearer, I need to turn him down. There. The guidon bearer and the third squad leader doing that chop, chop, chop. And you shouldn't lean back when you're marching. I get the cultural thing of calling the cadences, lean back. Used to be it's been big in certain branches for decades. Don't lean back. So here, elbows way too far away. This is what he's doing, and it should be relaxed here. Now he's probably not hiking up his shoulder. It doesn't look like it, but pulling up that elbow right in here, and it should be nice and relaxed, extended straight down instead of angling back. Now, so the tempo was very slow, but as soon as they stop, it's step close. In cadence where it should be at about 120 or so. So, and this is honor guard. I don't know exactly what they did back then, or even if there is an honor guard right now for the cadets. I don't know what a stroll is, but this is their thing, and the bringing the rifle down well after the marching or well after the facing movement. Let me get back to here. There. Getting bringing the rifle slowly and placing it back into place. That's a Marine Corps thing as well, not an Army thing. There's enough, you can have enough control to where the first movement of your facing movement, if you're executing left face, you turn and pivot on the both feet like this. You bring that rifle up on the first count. On the second count, when you bring your trailing foot at least into close, then you set the rifle down, and there's no need for that slow, almost as if you're letting air out of a pneumatic system. Really no need for that, but sure, the technique for the most part was quite good. Feet are a little wonky here and there because we can see maybe a 45-degree angle, maybe heels or maybe toes closed. So there's some inconsistencies throughout, but it wasn't terrible. That's for sure. They did a fine job marching. They're as good as their instructor has taught them. So there's definitely some good parts in this. The different colored berets is intriguing. I wonder what they mean. Anyway, so thanks for the request, California Cadet Corps, and I'll have another one coming up in just a second. Thank you.